JB, so good to see you. I'm excited we have time to talk today because I came across this really interesting article about more older adults who are unretiring to keep up with the cost of living. A new survey from AARP shows more retirees are heading back to work. In the past 6 months, 7% of retirees have re-entered the labor force. What does this increase tell you about how fragile many retirement plans actually are?
Great question, Erin. Always good to see you. With the way that retirement works, a lot of folks have plans that were built on inflation from yesteryear.
Yeah.
You look at 2010 to 2020, we didn't really have a whole lot of inflation. So if you had a plan that was planning on, oh, what if inflation's 2% or 3%? Most of those plans will hold up and they still would. But you look at the last 6 years, we've had much, much higher inflation.
Hmm.
And so we stress test plans. We'll use the traditional numbers, the 2%, 3%. But I also like to say, well, what if we've averaged 4% or
Yeah.
5% or more? Because it sounds like just twiddling some numbers and pounding some keys, but it really is amazing when you look at a 0.5% difference in inflation, how somebody's plan could be great or just
Hmm.
fall out and you run out of money. So you
Hmm.
have to plan, and the amount of money that you have sitting in the bank is not a plan.
Right, exactly. It's not just one number. We all want to reach that $1 million and think you're okay, but that's kind of not how it works. So, just to give you another statistic, you talked about the financial component, the emotional component. 15% who unretired said boredom was the main reason, and 14% said it was to stay active. How does choosing to return to work change a client's income plan and withdrawal strategies?
So when you look at that, when you look at the folks who go back to work either by choice or because they have to, we see a number of folks, they get bored, or the husband or wife says, hey, I've got to always keep going, I need to go do something, I need to, whether it's volunteering or working part-time. It really can change. If you're drawing Social Security and you have
Hmm.
not started, you have not reached your full retirement age, you have to look at those income limits. If you get above the income threshold, but before age full retirement age, they could withhold some of your check. However, if you draw Social Security and you go back to work within the first year, you can always do one of those do-overs where you give the money back. But there's a lot that goes into it. It's a moving target. It's not just, I'm going to go back to work. There's jobs everywhere. Well, there's not. You just read headlines. There's a lot of folks who are struggling to find employment that they are qualified for, that they enjoy. So
Hmm.
there's a lot that goes into it with
So
if you
much.
go back.
Yeah. And on that note, the survey also found 67% of older workers say it would be difficult to find a new job today, citing age discrimination and health issues. From a planning perspective, how dangerous is it for retirees to assume they can simply go back to work if markets fall or expenses rise?
Aaron, it is so dangerous. It's we nothing's there's not many things in life that are guaranteed. And to have something as important as maintaining your standard of living and not running out of money in retirement to just be, well, I'll just go do this. I hope that it works out, but we've seen a lot of folks who have decided to go back to work who thought, oh, well, I had this job and I was making six figures. I could get something part time making, close to what I was making per hour. And a lot of times it just doesn't happen.
Right.
Couple things: when you're out of the workforce, employers look at that. They say, oh, well, this person, they had a great career, but they've been retired for 5 years. Things change. Also, unfortunately, there's a lot of places that they may not tell you they're discriminating because of age, but we've seen a lot of people who have been retired have had challenges getting reemployment in certain fields. So you
Hmm.
have to look at that. You also, if the economy changes and you say, well, stock market's down, inflation's up, I need to go back to work, you got to be careful because employers might be laying people off and you're going to be competing against more people to find those
Hmm.
same jobs. So there's a lot that goes into it. It can be very dangerous to just rely on that as a planning strategy because it's not.
Right, right. You want to retire only once. That's a good reminder. And I'm glad you brought up the fact that it's a moving target because things obviously can change throughout your retirement. And you just want the option to choose to go back to work if you are bored or if your wife kicks you out of the house, like I'm sure you've seen in the past. But JB, if somebody would like to sit down with you, create that retirement plan, again, not a set it and forget it, but revisit it throughout their retirement, what's the best way to reach you?
Best way to reach us is 803-939-4848 or visit us online at beckettfinancialgroup.com. And Erin, I would probably be one of those people who my wife would kick me out of the house and say, go back to work if I retire. So I may never retire.
Well, at least you're doing what you're passionate about. That's what
That's
we're
right.
talking about, right?
That's,
Exactly.
that's,
Wonderful. JB, thank you so much for your time today.
thank you.